since I decided I was going to test all the parts of our wiring system to make sure that we're ready to go and ready to wire the dollhouse, I thought I'd turn the camera on and show you how I test the system and talk to you about each part of our wiring system. So stay tuned to learn all about it. All right, so I'm getting ready here to, like I said, to get this ready to go in the dollhouse, and I'm going to do a quick test just to make sure everything's working before I start wiring the dollhouse, because there's nothing worse than wiring the dollhouse and realizing that it's not going to work. So we have some pieces here. I have a random piece of tape I took off that was packaging. I have my transformer. I have my lead-in wire. I have my junction splice. I have a little scrap of foam core that I've been using for quite a while to test my setup on, and I have my new test probe. I also have a screwdriver. So let's talk about each of these items as we work with them. All right, so first let's talk about the transformer. This is what plugs into your normal wall socket in your home and basically transforms the electricity coming out of that outlet into something that can be used in your dollhouse to safely power your electrical system. This is a 10-watt transformer. Transformers usually are sized by wattage. When you go to shop for a dollhouse miniature electrical transformer, you're going to be given a choice of different wattages. Commonly, I see 5 watt, 10 watt, 20 watt, and 40 watt. So what does that mean? Well, it gives you a clue as to how many lights this transformer can handle in your dollhouse. The bigger your dollhouse, obviously the more lights you're going to have, the larger the transformer you're going to need. Now when it says, okay, so a 5 watt transformer, usually they recommend around 7 bulbs for that. A 10 watt, this one was labeled 10 watts and to use up to 15 bulbs. A 20 watt up to 31, or a 40 watt transformer up to 62. And when it says up to 15, it doesn't mean 15 fixtures. It means 15 individual lights. So like in the beachside bungalow, I am going to be using this on the front porch. This has 1 bulb in it, so this counts as 1. But if you've purchased, say, a chandelier for over your dollhouse dining room table, and there's 5 bulbs on that, that counts as 5 lights against your transformer. So that would take up a third of this if you did that. So you need to kind of do a quick count of, okay, how many rooms do I have? How many lights do I want in there? You don't want to go too big, like you wouldn't want to put a 40 watt transformer on this little tiny house. If you have too large of a transformer, it will actually burn your light bulbs out really quickly. Too small, and you're going to get very dimly lit areas. Your bulbs just won't have enough power to light up. So do your best to guesstimate how many bulbs you're going to want. I decided up to 15. I want to use at least 10 bulbs on this size transformer, up to about 15. So that's where we're talking for that. Now, this plugs into the wall. Like I said, it plugs in there. Its output is right here. You have 2 posts that we're going to screw the lead-in wire. So let me talk about the lead-in wire. All right, this is the lead-in wire that I purchased to use with the beachside bungalow. You'll notice it has 2 ends. One end has these 2 little funny shaped doohickeys, and that's what's going to be screwed onto here. The other end has 2 prongs. Those 2 prongs are going to go into the junction splice. So let's get this put on, and then I'll pick up the junction splice and we'll talk about it. So there we go. I want these to fit fairly tight. And as far as I know, it makes no difference which post you put that onto. Here's my screwdriver. Make sure that you get it on tight so it doesn't fall off. And since this does have this has an on-off switch, that means I don't have to unplug it every time I want to turn the lights in the dollhouse off. The on-off switch is fairly close to the top end, so this will be really close to the dollhouse and be much easier to reach than maybe a plug that might be behind a table. So let's talk about the junction splice. All right, this little thing is called the junction splice. This has 4 prongs, and always when it's not installed, put it back into its foam, because that protects these little prongs from damage and protects you from poking yourself on it. What this does is we plug in this part. I'm going to show you, but then I'm going to unplug it. And that is what plugs the whole system into our dollhouse, because these 4 little prongs are going to be pushed into the beginning of our tape wire. And that's what will put the electricity from the wall to the transformer, through the lead-in wire, and into the junction splice, and then into the house. So what I have here is it's just a piece of foam core. I keep this in my box with my electrical supplies, and I've used this many, many times over the years. I am going to take my junction splice, and I'm going to line up so these pegs, these little sharp pieces, are going into both lines of tape wire, both colors. And that was off. So I do need to make sure that I'm getting lined up. Come on. It was almost on. If I can get it where I want it. Sorry, I'm not under camera. I've got to be able to see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. All right, now I've got all 4 prongs into this piece of tape wire. There's 2 in the yellow, the kind of coppery color, and 2 in the blue one. Now I'm going to turn the camera off so I can go plug this in. I'm going to plug this into the wall, this into the wall, and then when I come back, we'll plug this wire into our junction splice. All right, that's plugged into the wall. Now these 2 prongs go into the junction splice. And the junction splice is not really going to want to hold on to that foam core, and the weight of the cord is pulling it out. All right, now I have someplace on my table, there it is, my tester. And I don't know if I've got my switch on or off, so I'm going to try it, and it's on. We have light. This tells me that everything is working just fine. So now I'm safe to start setting up the wiring of the dollhouse. So that will be our next step, and that's what we will be doing on the Sunday video. So I'll see you on Sunday when we start wiring the dollhouse.